Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of What's Next with We. This podcast is part of the podcast series we're doing with the TiEBangalore chapter, wherein we interview entrepreneurs who are really creating impact in society. Today we have with us Swati Padalia, who's the founder of DoseTap, a smart pillbox. Also, I'm quite curious to know what that product is. It's an IoT device. For people who don't know IoT, it's Internet of Things, basically connecting your devices to the internet. I'm Vishal Ramaswamy, the V in What's Next with We, your host as always. Swati, jumping right in. Firstly, welcome to my podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Great. Swati, interesting story. You did your bachelor's in pharmacy, then topped that up with an MBA degree. I think worked in the pharmaceutical sector for some time, and then moved in to become an entrepreneur, right? And in the IoT space,
Yeah.
typically folks with non-tech background typically don't enter the tech scene. So it's great to hear that you've moved into that space. So it would be good to hear your story.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Being from non-tech, yeah, there is a bit of learning curve involved, but I think also it helps you when you're not aware of the issues, you're more open to trying out things. So anyway, so yeah, so I'm from Delhi and I moved out in 2010 for my MBA from Narsi Munji, Mumbai. And after that, I worked for around 10 years in healthcare marketing. So very close to healthcare sector from the very beginning. I also did a very small handicraft business early on when I was in Mumbai. So what happened is while I was in Bangalore, a very close friend of mine was suffering from epilepsy. And we used to live together for some time, and I could see that she used to forget to take her pills very
Mm.
frequently. And what happened sadly once is that she double dosed accidentally. And that led to, very serious complications, and she had to be admitted to the hospital. So sort of these personal and professional experiences, because I come from a healthcare marketing background, that's what propelled me to work towards the solution. Yeah.
Awesome. I always see that if there is a personal story attached to the startup, typically the startup is born of some personal experience, right? You must have faced it. It could be in your family members, your friends. So I
Yeah.
think that's quite an inspirational story. So it would be good to hear what you're doing at DoseTap. Uh, what's your team strength? What's your product like? What has been the impact so far that you have created? Would be good to hear, Swati.
Yeah, sure. So as I was mentioning, all the personal and professional experiences that told me, okay, how big this issue is. But what I also started observing then how common it is and how frequent
True.
it is. People in my family, even myself, I had to take a 3-day antibiotic course and I forgot the very next day that I had to take it. So it's a very common behavioral problem. So I felt that this is something which really needs a very holistic solution and not change the patient behavior too much. So DoseTap is mainly a smart pillbox that we developed. So idea behind this was that every household has a medicine box. So why not
True.
just make it more intelligent and smarter instead of telling them to do things in a certain way. So it's mainly for patients who have to take medications for a long time, sometimes for their lifetime, which sadly happens in certain chronic diseases like
True.
when we say chronic means long-term illnesses like
Mm.
diabetes, heart problems, neuropsychiatry illnesses, etc. So how the device works, I can quickly show it to you. So this is the smart device. So it doubles up as a storage space for all of your medications. Plus, how it works is that it is Bluetooth connected. So once you set up your medication reminders, the device gives you visual and audio alerts when it's time to take the medicines. But one thing that we did differently was that we integrated some sensors in the device which track whether the patient has taken medicines or not. And what we do is that if the patient still misses doses, we inform the family member that, hey, your father or your mother has missed the medicine. So a great help for people like me who are not living with the parents or who are away, or even during their day jobs when they're not at home. It helps really well to do that remote monitoring kind of element. Plus, what we also help healthcare organizations to track adherence on a broader scale. So we share anonymized patient data aggregated, and they can see what the brand journey is for their brands and how the patients are tracking as per their scheduled prescriptions. So that's a bit about it. Yeah.
Awesome. It in my head, it seems like a very trivial problem. It happens in every household, and you
Yeah,
typically have these normal reminders. You might have it on your mobile phones, or you write it on a piece of paper. My
yeah.
grandmom, who lives in Kerala, she had obviously she's on multiple medications, so she writes everything on the paper. And so
Mm,
far, touch wood, she has not missed many of the medications, but I'm sure the problem persists
yeah,
across not even India, it's across the world. I would say, and I believe your intervention with a small, very smart pillbox, I think it solves the issue in multiple levels.
yeah.
So would you, Swati, it'd be good to hear on number of people who are using it, number of if there are any hospitals that are using it. Have you sold it globally? Do you have any global ambitions for taking DoseTap globally?
Yeah, so we have around 500 patients who are on the device. We launched it commercially early last year, working with some pharmaceutical companies in the chronic care space. So we got some seed funding early this year, and then we scaled up our production. So we went live on Amazon, Flipkart, Tata 1MG in August. But we are definitely looking for more partnerships with healthcare organizations and similar startups who operate in the chronic care space, then hospitals as well as home healthcare. So that is something which we are trying to span out now.
Awesome, awesome. To all the listeners out there who are in the healthcare space, feel free to reach out to Swati. I think quite an interesting product. She's kind of helping patients at one end, at the same time helping pharmaceutical companies kind of uh, so that the patients kind of adhere to those medications, and at the same time helping hospitals kind of whatever medications have been suggested by the doctors, is it being followed or not? I think multiple stakeholders are being benefited. I think healthcare companies can reach out to Swati to take this further. So I think moving on to my next question, I believe you guys have taken part in multiple competitions, maybe in India and globally. Just wanted to get your experience on your past few years with maybe Bangalore Tech, starting with Bangalore Tech Summit, to your recent Thai Women Global Pitch competition. Would be good to hear your experience there.
Yeah, sure. So, from a startup perspective, it's very important to have that visibility and
True.
awareness, especially for our product because it's a very novel concept. It's so important to have that category awareness in place. So I always try to, showcase the product at places where we can get more awareness and more visibility. So because of this, we were also selected for the startup stage at BioAsia in Hyderabad, and we were also selected for the product launch in Bangalore Tech Summit, which really helped us to gain a lot more visibility than the organic sources. But Thai Global Pitch Competition, I think that is something which was a very different kind of experience for me. It was very, what should I say, immersive learning because it wasn't just pitching competition, but mentoring also, and pitching to all those jurors multiple times really helped me shape up not just the pitch but also the strategy and the market access part. A big validation for me was that while I was pitching, two of the jurors purchased my product on Amazon right then and
Wow.
there. So yeah, that was a big validation. But all in all, I mean, it was a very different and very great learning experience, which I think is still helping me out when I pitch to my customers as well. So yeah, I'm very glad to be part of it.
Yeah, awesome, awesome, Swati. I think, as you said, the recognition that you get, the brand awareness, and these are all organic ways to kind of push your product and push your messaging. And good to hear that one few of your jury members bought it on the stage. So I'm sure many of them would relate to this problem. I'm sure a lot of the children would be outside, maybe working in different cities in India, maybe working outside India as well, to
Yeah.
monitor whether the parents are following medication. I feel I'm sure many of them would relate to this problem. So I think, Swati, you're actually targeting the global market. So just wanted to understand whether you guys have global plans. Are you guys planning to launch maybe in the Western world soon? Would like to get your thoughts there.
Yeah, so we have applied for certain certifications that are required to launch the product, but Europe and US are something which we are targeting pretty soon. So as soon as the certifications come in, we'll be reaching out to those countries as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Also, another maybe suggestion, you could reach out to NRIs globally who
Yeah.
have having parents in India. I think it's a beautiful product.
Yeah.
The problem that you're solving is, I'm sure, pervasive across society. So, moving on to my next kind of question, I'm sure It's been, I think, few years since you started DoseTap. Um, I'm sure you'll have ups and downs as an entrepreneur. The journey is not always a straight line, right? You'll keep having ups and downs. So, it would be good to hear the challenges that you have faced. As you mentioned, you were in from a pharmacy background, and you have been in the healthcare space, and you have created a kind of a tech product. So, it would be good to hear few challenges that you have faced over the years, and would
Yeah.
be good to hear how you kind of overcame those.
Sure. So thanks for this. Though even I'm still at a very early stage, but initially there are more downs than ups, right? So
True,
it's so important to stay patient. I as a person, I'm not a very patient person, but doing your own startup has really taught me how
true.
to be
Yeah,
patient and persistent. So I think that is so important. So I think perseverance is something which definitely has to come in, and results don't come so soon, right? So you have to be at it and show up every day.
true.
So that's what I keep telling myself also. And healthcare has been a difficult segment to be in. Even though I have been from healthcare segment, it's still new kind of challenges that come up, right? So I think it's so important to be patient about things that happen. But yeah, definitely get there one day.
And absolutely, I think it's a journey, right? As you said, I think perseverance, just being at it, and just showing up every day. I think these basic things, if you can do it for a long period of time, you typically kind of meet success. It's what I have seen. Like any entrepreneur you speak to, they would say the same thing. Moving into my kind of the last question and the theme of this podcast. So typically, I speak to multiple entrepreneurs, and uh, I think through entrepreneurs, you kind of understand what's going to be the future. Uh, so would be good to hear from you, Swati, on what's next for obviously DoseTap for from the your company point of view, but also from the market. Are you going to maybe address other problems that you see in healthcare? Are you going to maybe introduce new products in the IoT space? So it would be good to hear what you have plans for DoseTap in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, sure. So coming to DoseTap, I mean, for short term, short to mid term, so we received some funding, early this year. So we were incubated with the Step Up Ventures, who gave us some seed fund, and then we were also a part of the Meti Samrit 2022 program. So we got a matching fund from them. So this helped us to get our tooling up, because hardware startups, I think, have a very different set of challenges
True.
than software. So that really helped us to get our manufacturing done. And now, as I mentioned, we are looking for partnerships and collaborations. But talking from a broader point of view, I feel that there are still so many gaps in healthcare ecosystem, and connected healthcare is something which I envision being a part of. Right now, there are a lot of gap areas when it comes to different therapies, like women's health. Then you have mental illness, psychiatric and neuro problems. So, especially in hardware, the barrier to entry is very high. So what I'm looking at is connected solutions into specific therapies that we would be getting into in some time. Yeah.
Got it, Swati. I think what you said is a very important point. I think connected devices, digital health, everything's going to get digitized. And I think one more point that you kind of mentioned or infer, what I infer is collaborate, right? I think you need to collaborate with other partners and kind
Yeah.
of give an integrated solution to the end. It could be end customer, it could be end hospital or a healthcare provider. I think
Right.
going further, it is going to be that it's going to be digital, it's going to be connected, and it's going to be seamless wherein devices and services talk to each other.
Right.
So great, Swati. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Any last parting message?
I think just like for women entrepreneurs, it's so important for us to support each other. We are a
True.
small group, but it's so important to support each other and grow together. So that is something which I really aspire to be. And just thanks to Tai, because that platform actually helped me interact with so many other women founders, which was very encouraging and a very different kind of inspiration that you can draw, versus your other groups. So I'm really grateful to be part of this. Thank you.
Awesome, Swati. What you said was perfect. I'm sure a lot of these ecosystem partners are promoting women entrepreneurs, and we're seeing a lot of women entrepreneurs coming across sectors, building. It could be tech products to food business to beauty products. So we see entrepreneurs across sectors now. And I recently saw that women participation in the corporate sector, working across startups and large corporates have increased tremendously this year. So we're seeing a lot of women coming into the workforce.
Yeah.
Great, Swati. On that note, thanks a lot once again for being part of What's Next with We. I had great fun. All the best for your product. I think you are still in the early stages, early parts of your journey. I think lots more to do. You're tackling a quite a trivial problem at the same time, huge market globally. So all the best, Swati, and happy to be part of your journey.
Thank you so much. It was great to have this conversation with you. Thank you again.